occasionally you'll have a conversation with a player over lunch after training, and it'll just take you by surprise. And you'll walk home and you'll think to yourself, I'm glad I was there today, because if I wasn't there, that guy might not have opened up and talked about that aspect of his life.
At Port Adelaide, the reason why they wanted a chaplain is because they saw the need of young men, because they are human beings and there's issues both on the field and off the field. And Port Adelaide had seen it working at Essendon, they'd seen it working at the West Coast, and thought it's an automatic, it's a bit of a no-brainer to put a chaplain into a sporting team, because they understand that a young athlete is just more than a physical specimen. There's more going on in their lives, and they need all the help that they can get for the off-field issues.
At an AFL level, they have roles for everything. So there are psychologists and counsellors. They would see the chaplain as the pastoral care arm of their welfare department. So that welfare department has a variety of arms, the pastoral care being one of those, and that's the role the chaplain will come in and play. So they don't necessarily see me as the qualified professional, but rather someone to come alongside the players, to be a listening ear, to give advice where needed, and to, show compassion where needed as well, and a sense of understanding in terms of what they're going through outside of their football life as well. And so I can come alongside them. I'm cheap too, I don't cost anything, and so I'm sure the players appreciate that. And as we develop a relationship together, they learn to trust me, and then they're more willing to open up too about all things involved in their lives.
Some of the things that the sports people deal with, which is totally different to normal people. When I say normal people, people who aren't involved in high-level sport, is the reaction when they get dropped, the reaction from when they get an injury, because their focus is highly on their sport. And if they get dropped, if they get an injury, it just throws them into turmoil.
It could be about a relationship that's breaking down, whether that's with a spouse, a girlfriend, whether that's a family situation. Then there's just the usual grief stuff that anyone experiences, like a grandparent dies, or an uncle dies, or someone that they love has got cancer. Often a player will come to a chaplain, sometimes with the more acute things. It's probably fairly usual with some of their mates to be dropped, because a lot of them are, and they've got coaching support and coaches understand that. But often the chaplain is a safe place, a confidential place, a neutral place for the stuff that they really don't want everyone else to know about.
Yeah, the players would understand that when they speak to me, it's offline to a certain degree. It's not something that's going to be translated back to the coaching staff or even other players. They can trust me, and I'm not involved in the absolute infrastructure of the club, so I'm not involved in the politics or the selection. Not involved absolutely at the inner sanctum, so I'm a safe place for them to go to if they would like. Having said that, if there's something really red hot that I believe a coach needs to hear, I would encourage them to go and speak to a coach or to someone on the board, and I always look after the club in that way.
I am someone who rolls up to training, and I'm just not interested about how they played on the weekend or whether they're going to be selected. I'm interested in them and their family, their children, their future, how are things going if they're away from their home. Those kind of things they're not necessarily going to talk to their mates about. They stick to their mates talking about mate stuff, but something that's a little bit more deep and personal that they want to keep to someone safe. The chaplain is that perfect person.
And often your chaplain too will be really well versed and equipped to walk a club through things like suicide, sudden death, cancer, all those sorts of things as well.
The reception we get as chaplains in that situation is fantastic.